How are you? Good day, friends. We are going to have the book review on Animal Farm. The author of this book is George Orwell. He's an Englishman. During Second World War time, he was a journalist. To do his job, he needs to travel a lot of places and have seen a lot of unfairness and social injustice. In his writing, critiques, and books, like Animal Farm and also another well-known book, 1984, you may see a lot of terms like big borders, eavesdropping, brainwashings. All his writings can show his oppositions to dictatorship and totalitarianism and also socialism and also communism. Up to today, he's still one of the most influential writers in the English language world. The original name of this book was Animal Farm, a fairy tale. But maybe after you finish this book, you may decide yourself that whether it is a fairy tale. But one thing I'm quite sure is that this book was not aiming at children only. This is not a long book, only 60 pages or so, and it was completed by the author in a few months of time and was published in 1945. The version I take for these reviews was a 1946 one, and in fact, I drew it from internet, 2004 internet edition. Perhaps from the change of name, you may smell something. At the very beginnings, this farm was named Manor Farm, and then this farm was overturned by animals, and then this farm was named Animal Farm. And after some years, this farm was renamed back to Manor Farm. So, well, you can see it later, but I hope that when the stories move on, I want you to bear in mind and to consider that if there's any change to the management styles there, and also to animals, are their lives changed? And actually, what have changed? In the Manor Farm, there were two types of characters: Mr. Jones, his wife, and his man. They are the managers and operator. And then another side were the animals, farm animals, like pigs, were clever, horses and donkeys, they're strong. And then cows, hens, goats, sheep, ducks, they were the producers, working very hard to produce. And the cats and dogs, they are the guards for keeping the farm safe. And I just can tell you that those animals, they were not happy. They were pushed to work hard and hard and hard in returns of barely enough food. And even in the wintertime, they may not have hay enough to keep them warm. The owner, Mr. Jones, and his men doesn't care much about the welfare of animals. So those animals will live in desperate. Animals could be like that forever if no one stood up. Old Major, an old pig, he has been the farm his whole life. He has seen a lot of comes and goes. He disliked the way Mr. Jones and his men, how they treat animals. And before he died, he inspired his animal friends that all the animals have to stand on their own feet and don't let human beings to control their lives. This mission was carried out by Napoleon and Snowball, two young pigs. They ran around and encouraged all the other animals that if there's a day, then they have to fight for their own freedom. And indeed, there was a chance come up. And there was a night that Mr. Jones was not in good mood. He went to sleep early, and his men were lazy. They didn't feed animals, and they didn't shut those doors well enough. And animals were hungry and were cold, so they took the chance and broke fence and shed and came out and kicked those human beings away. And from that day on, the farm was under their control. But it's just the beginning, a chance only. And after that, indeed, all the animals really stand up to fight for their own welfare. From then on, the farm was really named Animal Farm. Before he died, old Majors taught all the animals a song, Beasts of England. No matter animals are happy or sad, they sang it. And other than the song, old Majors also give some guidelines to animals that what are the differences between human beings and animals. So, they are the 7 commandments that Snowball had to set up. Those who were upon 2 legs were enemy. And 4 legs, or those who have wings, friends. And all the animals are equal. And no animal shall kill any other animals. Then, what about human beings? No. No animal shall wear clothes, no animal shall sleep in a bed, and no animal shall drink alcohol. So those are the things that animals should not do because they were human beings' practice. Well, there's so much to remember. A lot of animals, they were not wise enough to remember that much. So Snowball helped them out and gave them a maxim, a very easy slogan. 4 legs good, 2 legs bad. 4 legs good, 2 legs bad. At the very beginnings, all went well. It seems that their dream came true. Productions amount went up. All the animals can enjoy the rewards equally, and animals were willing to work harder than before because they know that now they're working for themselves, not for human being anymore. All the animals were treated equally, fairly, but it doesn't last long. In the old day, Napoleon and Snowball, they share the leadership together to look after the farm. Snowball was the key person who planned out all the things, set up committees and also meetings, and asked all the animals together to plan out for the future. And Napoleon was the opposer. Whatever Snowball suggested, he just said no. And he secretly raised his own army, a group of dogs. In a meeting, he sent those dogs away and chased after Snowball. And after that, Snowball was seen no more. And he was overturned. And after Snowball was gone, no matter what happened negatively in the farm, he put them all together to Snowball and gave him a bad name. He also told all the animals, residents, that Snowball linked up with Mr. Jones. So if you do not want Mr. Jones to come back, that also means that you won't want Snowball to come back. And Napoleon becomes the only leader in the farm. And he tells all the animals that Napoleon is always right. Is Napoleon always right? Yes, he is. All the pigs told all the animals so. The 7 commandments were written on the wall. One day, hens, ducks, geese, and pigeons, they were shouting and pointed on the wall and said, "Where's the word wings?" And they drew chaos. Pigs came up and said, "What wings? You get 2 wings, right? And you have 2 legs, right? 2 plus 2. You are 4 legs too. So what's the problem?" Now, animals will no longer need to do any decision making. They just take orders. It's because pigs said decision making is a hard job. And since pigs are a little bit wiser, so they are willing to take up this workload on behalf of their brothers. So they need an office. Then they move in the farmhouse. It's okay. But after some while, pigs were found sleeping in a bed. All the animals were stunned. Is it against the commandment? So they rushed to the commandment wall to check it up. And it found that, number 4, no animal shall sleep in a bed with sheets. Their memory failed them. Napoleon always put blames on Snowball. He threatened animals that if Snowball came back, it also means the return of Mr. Jones. So if they do not want Mr. Jones, then there's no place for Snowball. There was a meeting. Napoleon collect all the animals together and asked them to confess if has connection with Snowball. Some animals were naive enough. Some said they have seen Snowball in dreams. Some said they seem like seeing the shadow of Snowball at the other side of the river. Things like that. And after that, Napoleon changed his face immediately and asked his secret agents, his dogs, came out and killed those animals instantly. We have not seen this kind of killing since Mr. Jones' time. So they were afraid and rushed back to the commandment wall and checked it out. And number 6 read, "No animal shall kill any other animal without cause." So does it mean that those animals being killed, they have connection with Snowball? So they got killed with a cause, right? After pigs moved in the farmhouse, animals found that pigs always stayed late and got drunk. So animals were angry, and to ensure that those pigs have done things wrong, they checked the commandment wall and read number 5. No animal shall drink alcohol to exist. Does it mean that drinking alcohol is accepted? They get confused to their memory. But they do remember that the maxim, 4 legs good, 2 legs bad, 4 legs good, 2 legs bad, is always right. 4 legs good, 2 legs better, 4 legs good, 2 legs better. Farm sheep now keep chanting this maxim everywhere. Other animals get dismayed. But why 2 legs are better than 4 legs? The reason is, now Napoleon is learning to do business with those neighboring farm owners. He needs money. He told farm's animals that he needs money to buy accessories. But other than that, he needs to build up his own palace, his army. So now all the pigs put on clothes and they learn to walk on 2 legs. So now 2 legs are better than 4 legs. The farm went republic. Napoleon ran for the presidency, since he was the only candidate. Eventually, he was elected President Napoleon. Napoleon is always right. He announced that the farm would be named Manor Farm, and all the animals would be happy to be kept, and all they need to do is to work hard. So, animals got confused, very confused. They didn't know what to believe. So they went back to the commandment wall. So try to ensure something. They checked up the wall and find that there were no commandment, but only one. All animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. At the end of this book, pigs walk on the Helix. They put clothes on themselves. They argue and negotiate with their human partners, and they even vote with them. So at that point, do you think pigs have turned to be human beings, or they're still pig? A good book is always inspiring. You breathe together with characters. So, where's Snowball? Have you ever thought about where's he after being kicked out? Why didn't he come back to fight for the leadership? Do you think Napoleon's a dictator? What's your definition to dictatorship? I think other than Snowball and Napoleon's, Boxer would be another permanent characters. So he will work very hard. He would be one of the hardworking animals in the farm. So do you want to work as hard as Boxer? Why yes, and why not? If you are one of the animals in the farm next door, do you want to have the same kind of rebellion just like the animal farm or the later we named it Manor Farm? Why not? Are all the animals equal there in the farm? What is animalism? You know, in this book, pigs have a special status. They would drink, they would put clothes on, they walk on the hind legs, and they stay in a farmhouse. So, if you are a pig, do you want to stay in a farmhouse or stay with a shed together with your friend? Okay, somebody say, this is an allegory instead of a fairy tale. What was behind Orwell's, the author's mind, when he was writing this book? Tell your thought. Here's a question I to you, yourself. Can we all be equal in real life? Okay, it's a time to say goodbye and good life. Hope that we can have another sharing soon.